What's up, everyone? Welcome to The Heroic Ethic, where all you need to do to be considered a hero is to follow the 3 simple rules of heroism. 1, don't throw the first punch. 2, stronger every day. And 3, at least tell people when it's easy. I'm your host, Liberty Bill, and today I have with me my sidekick, Super Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex.
So, today I wanted to talk about Dr. Seuss. The man's been getting canceled, and I'm not too cool with that. I don't like cancel culture. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in talking about our problems and not just, dismissing the outgroup. And so I thought I would honor the man by going over some of his quotes, because the guy was a genius at boiling down fairly complex philosophical concepts into simple sentences that rhyme and that even kids can understand. So, without further ado, Alex, can you please tell me the first quote?
You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the one who will decide where to go. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not-so-good street.
So I like this quote a lot for a couple of reasons. One, it emphasizes that we are the only ones that actually make actions. It's easy to look at the world from a perspective of collectivism, but we have to remember that these are just abstract terms that we are using for a collection of individuals. Only individuals act, and only individuals decide their own actions. But the problem is that we are embedded in a society. We all are born into and grow up into a society. And so we are strongly affected by the descriptive ethics of the society that we grow up in. And we have to understand that it's not always a good thing to accept these things without thinking about them, right? If you grow up in a slave society, you're going to think that that's a good thing because that's what the descriptive ethics all around you are. But, if you think about it, you can understand that slavery isn't such a good thing. The other thing that I like about this quote is that it emphasizes that it is our smartness and our brains that is what saves us from walking down unethical paths. Because we have to remember that even though we have a moral structure of mind that encourages us towards truly ethical behavior, it competes with a lot of other instincts that are more present-oriented, where ethics takes into account past, present, and future. And these immediate animal instincts that are focused only on the present tend to want to benefit itself at the expense of everyone else. It doesn't understand that sacrifice is often needed in the present in order to ensure a better future. And so in order to really parse what is normatively moral or not, we've got to use our heads. And that's what we try and do here at the Heroic Ethic. So that's enough about that. What is the next quote, Super Alex?
Think left and think right. Think low and think high. Oh, the things you can think up if only you try.
So the thing that I like about this quote is that it emphasizes how people rationalize. They don't really think too hard about the things that they're biased towards, especially when they are culturally enforced. And so it's very easy to get pulled astray on this ethics thing, because since it's difficult to manifest in real life because it's competing with all of these other more selfish instincts, it doesn't tend to manifest in society in a perfectly normative way. Although they do rhyme. And so because we have, moral structures of mind in common, there are themes that are repeated in ethics no matter where they are established. And so if we think about it, I think that we can figure out why that is. And I do think that one of the tests of an ethic is that can it explain the obvious cases? Because I think we can all agree that murder is wrong, slavery is wrong, rape is wrong. And if your ethic can't explain why these are wrong, or even worse, sanctions them under certain scenarios like moral relativity does, then that's a problem and something that we need to confront, and honestly, using our brains and not just rationalizing to explain our instincts that want us to benefit in the moment at the expense of everyone else instead of sacrificing for a better future. So what is the next quote, Alex?
He who makes a beast out of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man.
Yeah, so very profound here. This ties back to what I was talking about a moment ago about instincts looking at the now, whereas ethics abstracts lessons from the past to apply them to the present in order to ensure a better future. And, if we're animals, we don't have to think about that stuff, right? It's just so much easier to act on your instincts, because if you're not acting as a moral agent, then you don't have to take any responsibility. If you think ethically, you do have to take responsibility for your actions as a moral agent, and responsibility is hard because you can fail and you're going to make mistakes, and then you will be rightly blamed for it, and people don't like to be blamed for things. That damages our ranking in the social hierarchy, and so a lot of times our immediate instinctive response is to protect that social standing and to, just deny everything, as opposed to taking responsibility. It's hard. It's hard to be an adult, but we've got to grow up and get to the point where, we are responsible for our actions. And that's the sort of thing that we advocate here at the Heroic Ethic. What's the next quote, Super Alex?
I know up on top you are seeing great sights, but down here at the bottom, we too should have rights.
What a great quote, Dr. Seuss. That's what natural rights is all about. That's what the heroic ethic is all about. It's about making sure that everyone has the rights that they are born with. The right to not be enslaved, the right to not be murdered, the right to not be raped. And that's the problem with moral relativity, is that it always creates hierarchies, it always creates in-groups and out-groups. And if you sanction an epistemology that allows the in-group to play by different rules, the rules of masters, where they own themselves and other people, and then have different rules for slaves, where they don't even own their own bodies, it leads to evil, man. And so we have got to be wary of it and be better than that. Again, that is why we here at the Heroic Ethic strive to follow the 3 simple rules of heroism, because it allows us to be better than that. What's our next quote, Super Alex?
I have heard there are troubles of more than one kind. Some come from ahead and some come from behind. But I've fought a big bat. I'm all ready, you see. Now my troubles are going to have troubles with me.
This one talks about the 3rd pillar of power. We have to remember that might doesn't make right, but it does make the rules. If the villains win, they will impose their evil morality upon us, and if we don't have the power to resist, we're just gonna have to live with it. And I'm not cool with that. So we have to remember, stronger every day. We have to get stronger every day in mind, in body, in spirit, and in social power, so that we can fight back against injustice. Because if we let the villains win, it's just not good for anybody. What do we got for the next quote, Super Alex?
If you've never been born, then you might be an isn't. An isn't, it has no fun at all. No, he didn't.
This one's a little controversial, but here at the Heroic Ethic, I, Liberty Bill, am strongly pro-life. And one of the arguments that I make in favor of it is a thought experiment. If you and I get into an argument and I decide to pull out my magic time gun and shoot your fetus so that you were never born, have I committed a crime? I would say that I did. I think that it's pretty obvious that I did, because under that scenario, I know you. I know you as an individual. I know your face, your mannerisms, the things that you believe and say. And with that personal connection, it becomes immediately apparent that if I were to end your life at any point of your timeline, I have committed murder. And then we realize the only difference is that with abortion, we just don't know that individual. Even though he's a unique individual with a unique DNA sequence that will inevitably become that person that 30 years from now could get into an argument with me. So I will do my full argument against abortion at some point, but I like this quote from Dr. Seuss because it made me think of it, and I think it's an important topic. What's our last quote, Super Alex?
It's a troublesome world. All the people who are in it are troubled with troubles almost every minute. You ought to be thankful a whole heaping lot, for the places and people you're lucky or not.
So I really love this quote from Dr. Seuss because it reminds us that while it's easy to fall into a victim mentality because we are just biased towards thinking that anything positive that happens to us is normal and deserved, and anything negative that happens to us just must be the fault of other people because, gosh, otherwise we would have to take responsibility. Responsibility is very emotionally uncomfortable, much easier to blame other people and to focus on the negative in our lives and then get all depressed because we're not happy. And look, man, I get it. I was kicked out of my house when I was 16. I had to live in the street and eat out of trash cans, joined the Navy when I was 17 years old, fight in Desert Storm, and hitchhike to New York City with nothing and build a life from nothing. And, things didn't always work out the way that I wanted. And it's easy to think, oh, woe is me. But you know what? Every morning I wake up grateful because I remember and I try to remind myself of all of the things that I am so lucky to experience. I'm the picture of health. I'm 6'2" with the body of a superhero. I'm smart and I've figured a few things out. I live in America, the richest society that the world has ever seen. I have more freedom than anybody in the world has ever seen. I'm just so thankful. I've got these wonderful children. It's just, we've got to remember the things that we have. We've got to be grateful. And that is going to give us the feeling of being powerful and then being willing to share that power with everyone else and making a better world for all by at least helping people when it's easy. So that was some wisdom from Dr. Seuss, the poor, canceled philosopher that wrote brilliant verses for children. I'm a little upset about it. And so I hope you enjoyed this little discussion about some of his quotes. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and such if you want to support the channel. And regardless, thank you so much for watching. This has been The Heroic Ethic. I'm your host, Liberty Bill. This has been my sidekick, Super Alex. See you next time.
See ya.